Greetings once again, dear viewers, and welcome back. As usual, today's show will feature 3 uniquely horrifying segments. 1 exploration into a haunting locale. 1 revelation regarding a occult factoid, and 1 delving into a curious cryptid case. As usual, I personally hope that you stick with us for all 3 segments. I mean, it's India week. Are you gonna skip out on India week? Think of how many ghosts come from India. Do you really want to offend that many ghosts? Just saying. However, if I'm honest, and I always am, I would be thrilled if you would at least consider sticking around for our first segment, wherein the unique funerary secrets of the Parsi shall be explored. At the heart of a garden in the growing city of Mumbai, the wary or unwary traveler may yet stumble upon one of the world's most unique and fascinating funerary structures. Well, more than 1, to be completely honest. And there's at least 1 over here, and others in different places in India, also in Iran. Wait. What exactly is this thing? The Tower of Silence, or Dahkma. That is what it is. A walled structure with raised concentric slabs or a sloped platform fashioned into a circle with a pit at its heart. A pit for the collection of blood and desiccated bones. This fascinating structure is kept locked and sealed off from outsiders to the local Parsi sect. However, if you were to somehow get a peek inside one of these Dahkma, you might very well see decomposing bodies. Bodies left to be eaten by vultures. These bodies will typically be organized in concentric circles, with men being on the outside, women being on the inside, and children being on the even more inside. Now, many would find this particular funerary custom to be macabre and even disturbing. But why, though? What's wrong with being vulture food? I mean, I'm game. Feed me the birds right now! Ah! Now, the reason that Zoroastrians dispose of their bodies in this particular fashion relates directly to their religious beliefs. But the belief specifically in 3 sacred elements, which are, of course, not to be defiled. Those being earth, water, and fire. This essentially makes cremation, or more conventional forms of burial, a sacrilege. Additionally, the vulture is viewed as both a vehicle for the soul into the afterlife and the recipient of one final act of charity in the form of a delicious meal. I mean, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. That isn't scary, if you ask me. Or macabre. That's beautiful in both sentiment and indeed a sustainable return of the human form to nature. Your very final act, a gift. Truly, dear viewers, I am touched. So, if the Dahkma isn't scary in and of itself, then you might be asking, yelling at the screen, dare I say, why? Why are you talking about it on this segment about scary places? Well, that's because the story isn't over yet, you ass clowns! The posse, as a side note, also believe the bodies simply left be susceptible to colonization by evil spirits, and even spooky ones, which is why rapid consumption by vultures is an absolute necessity to the posse. However, there is another reason why rapid consumption by vultures is becoming, in this modern day, more a necessity than it ever was back when rapid consumption by vultures was easy to attain. All right, class, flip open your textbooks to the 1990s and get ready to learn all about the ongoing Indian vulture crisis. What? Your textbooks only cover Western history and stop covering it at, like, the Vietnam War? Well, ain't that a bitch? Well then, here's the story. Vultures, they eat bodies. You got a lot of vultures, they can eat a lot of bodies. Really, really fast. Humans, nom 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 nom. Feral dogs, nom 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 nom. Revered, well cared for, and well medicated cattle, nom 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 nom. Hold up, this cow wasn't treated with diclofenac, the veterinary drug that is lethal to vultures in doses it can receive just by eating from a recently treated pet or animal, does it? It does! Oh no! This acid vomit was my last! Diclofenac is an anti-inflammatory, pain-reducing drug, which was used to treat all kinds of pets and animals back in the golden 90s. Not just in India, but around the globe. It has since been made illegal. This is because over 95% of the vulture population endemic to India died from exposure to diclofenac. There are some vulture populations that lost 99.7% of their population. 99.7%. I saw a number on Wikipedia that said that this effect could have been accomplished with as little as 0.08% of cattle, corpses treated with diclofenac, being the source of the exposure. This percentage might seem a little far-fetched, but you have to take into consideration the practices of urban Indian communities. Basically, many Hindus also revere vultures, and traditionally, cattle are left out for vultures to eat, feed for India's beauteous carrion population. However, should a single of these tasty, sweet bovines receive medical relief from their final sufferings before they are left to the birds, well then, they'll act as a poison to every vulture who eats from their delectable corpse. Every one lethally, or very nearly so, poisoned to death. Well, this vulture crisis definitely affected a lot more than just the Parsi community of Mumbai. I found their plight particularly compelling. You see, without a lot of vultures, a lot of bodies simply can't be eaten by vultures. As a result, many Parsi are now forced to consider participating in borderline sacrilegious funerary customs, such as mausoleum burial, or disintegrating their dead with a concentrated sun mirror, like Archimedes. Well, I suppose I would be kind of upset if that was one of my loved ones, but what's more, the decline of the vulture population has thrown nature straight out of whack. Feral dog and rat populations have simply boomed, filling in that empty vulture niche. Leopard populations have moved into more urban areas in search of those delicious urban dwelling feral dogs. And the urban sprawl of cities such as Mumbai has quite simply expanded onto the previously suburban Dahkma, towers of silence, filled increasingly with bodies which vultures simply aren't around to eat. This creates a unique civics issue, the issue of rotting corpses exposed to the open air, near places where many folk live and work. This is the conundrum faced by many Zoroastrians living in the region who would prefer to dispose of their loved ones in the appropriate traditional manner, but increasingly find themselves unable to honor the memories of their loved ones in a culturally appropriate way. The theme of today's story is consequence, or perhaps simply that an ounce of prevention is worth at least a pound of cure. Accidentally poisoning gazillions of vultures is easy. Researching potential impacts of your animal drug, relatively inexpensive. Fixing a vital aspect of the endemic local ecosystem that has been utterly broken, that's expensive, hard, and excessively time-consuming. If it's even possible to do it all. Well, now you're going to learn about witch twigs. Look at the time. We didn't even have the time to learn about Iranian towers of silence. Guess I'm doing that next year. Okay, I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Ah, runes. They activate that goblin part of my brain that goes, "Ooh, shiny, click, clack, rock." Sorry. I'm honestly not gonna go into too much of the history of runes for divination, as we really just don't have much of anything to go on. We have some speculation, some references, and a couple of the written occurrences that kind of reference to drawing lots. But honestly, most of runic divination is just modern speculation based upon what we knew of some of the runes and the very few specifics that we know for sure. Of course, there's some modern study that indicates runes might have been used to create amulets and charms, but we just don't know. As it is, modern runic magic just draws on, all the mystic parts of what we do know of the runes. It's much like tarot reading for most of the schools of thought. Cast or draw and then just interpret the results. When I was taught runic magic, I was taught out of this old-ass book. It's not actually old-ass. It was published in 1995. It just looks really old because it's really beat up. But it's The Healing Runes by Ralph H. Blum. He's written 4 or 5 books on the subject. It's more towards the psychological end of divination than it really is of divination in general. You could find just about anything you want in terms of school of thought about runes on the internet. I did find a couple of interesting sites that we'll put the links down below. Fun thing about runes, and this is just a little aside, they wouldn't let me tell fortunes in school with tarot, but they never said anything about shiny click-clack rocks. And I made some good money that way, actually, for a while. And then people were like, eh. And I started selling jewelry, and they were like, woo! But anyways, yeah, runes. I put them separately from Divination. I put them separately from Pendulum and the Crystal Ball, simply just because there's not a lot of anything there that we really base it upon. It's interesting, I like them. My set's made of bloodstone. I know there are places you can get bone, you can get any kind of rock you really want, engraved real nice. Or you could make your own, and I knew a lot of people that have done that, and I'd like to do that myself. The problem with that is finding uniform pieces, and I don't have one of those rock tumblers. I should get one. But yeah, this has been Runes. I am done. This is my bag of click-clack rocks.
So that was like a 5 minutes. Are you sure you don't have enough juicy?
In mid-2001, a creature caused what some people call an example of mass hysteria. The Monkey Man of New Delhi, also known as Kala Bandar, started being reported in May of 2001 as appearing at night and attacking people. Accounts vary but tend to describe the creature as about 4 feet tall, covered in a thick black hair, with a metal helmet, metal claws, and glowing red eyes, with 3 peculiar buttons on its chest, though some report it being twice that height with differing features. Though inconsistent in its height, it is also sometimes seen leaping from building to building. Many reports come to the police of scratchings, and 2, possibly even 3 people died from their, not wounds, but panicked attempts to escape the Monkey Man. The police even had artists' impressions drawn up of the Monkey Man. I'm done. I personally might not believe the Monkey Man is anything more than simply a rapscallion who wanted to mess around with some people. But what do you think? There's some that say it might be the embodiment of the god Hanuman.
Thanks for watching Cryptid Corner. Join us in the next episode where we invent a version of Bigfoot even more ridiculous than the one we talked about in this episode. Well, I guess that I warned you about that monkey's business in the last episode, did I not? The vulture business, too. You know, dear viewers, when I was young, the deli up the street from where I lived had sort of a monkey man working behind the counter. Do you suppose it's any relation? Probably not. No matter. I, of course, hope you enjoyed all of today's segments, and that you will, and of course you will, join us in tomorrow's glorious celebration. Oh, I almost forgot. Tomorrow's video, of course, will be truly wonderful. To be sure. An exploration into medieval European madness and fantasy, the likes of which you have possibly never seen before. Feel free, dear viewer, to leave a like and subscribe. Ring the bell even.